Not every buyer's agent in real estate does everything the same. That's why I'm going to take you on a home tour of a house so I can show you what I do during a showing, give you some tips, some tricks as well, so that you're fully prepared that if you do need to relocate here to the Lansing area, that you can have an expectation of what your showing should look like. So I'm gonna get started with this next episode of Lansing, Michigan Life right now, and this is your first time to the channel. My name is Troy Seifert. I am a top producing real estate agent, and I work with people from all over the country who are looking to make a move to the greater Lansing, Michigan area. And if you are looking to move here in 9 days, 90 days, or 9 months from now, I would love to be able to talk with you or even meet on a Zoom call face to face. Actually, when you do look to relocate here, my first step is to do a buyer consultation with you. I typically do it on Zoom with you so that we can talk face to face about your real estate goals. Also, if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. So I am going to take you on a tour of a property. I am not marketing this property. I'm just kind of showing you things that I point out. And the first thing that I do when I meet with buyers is I do either give them printouts of the specifics, the facts of the house, also the seller's disclosures. Why are these things important? Well, you won't be able to see everything all on one page when it comes to the specifics of the property. Also with the disclosures, they don't show that on Zillow or Realtor.com. And the disclosures show the ages of things that you need to look out for. I give these to you, either print them off, or if you are from afar and you can't make it, then I digitally send them to you to look over them ahead of time, especially when there's several properties. Like here are the disclosures, here's the ages of things, so that you can make an informed decision to see whether you really want to see this property or not. So this is something that's extremely important because not every agent does this. They just kind of maybe meet you at the house, open up the door, and kind of let you do your thing. With myself, I want to be sure that you know all the facts. And even sometimes, like if you say, hey, I would like to see this property, I do point out some things, either about, hey, did you know this about the place? Or, hey, did you know this about it? For instance, for this property, if it were to be sold at the purchase price that it's at right now, property taxes would go up 40%. And this house is in the city of Lansing. So 40%, and the taxes on it right now are $4,000, your taxes will go up to $6,000 for the year. And sometimes people just don't think about that because they see the taxes that are on Zillow or Realtor.com. So I do point out some of those things for people to be able to just consider before they take a look. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just kind of take you inside parts of the house of things that I'm going to point out, or what I would point out to a buyer, so you can kind of see like, hey, I do care about what you're buying, and I am going to point out the obvious things, and I'm going to give you several things to consider. So let me take you here to a part of the front of the house. This is what I want to point out first. So I am here at the front of the house. I'm going to flip this over so I can kind of show you a couple things that I see before we actually step inside the house. The other thing I want to point out to you too is I do lots of virtual showings for people if they can't make it in. I get on my phone, I point out these same things. So even kind of consider this a test run for what a virtual showing would look like with me. So let me go ahead. Okay, so I'm here at the front of the house, and the first thing that we check out is the roof. We want to be sure that the roof is okay. I mean, looking at this, it doesn't look like it's to the end of life, but it doesn't look like it's brand spanking new either. Something that you might not, see, and it looks clearly like there are gutters there. Some stuff on the wood siding though, when I go over to here, you can kind of see up there, if you zoom in a little bit more, you can see that some of the wood siding up there, there's some issue there. And then I want to take you down to the front step of this property, because the front step, and I'm trying to back up here, but the front step, I don't know if you can notice that, but it actually slopes down. And that would be something that a concrete specialist would be able to just basically be able to move that up. But I also don't know, I mean, it could be a foundational issue. I'm not a foundation specialist, but when you get to the front, you can definitely notice that this is just kind of sloping downward. So now I'm gonna take you to some other parts of things you need to consider. All right, so I am walking into the front of the house, and you can see there's some nice luxury vinyl plank flooring. It's over here, and then you go to the wall and it looks like it has just some deferred maintenance there. So it's good to have a nice little paint job. Looks like a paint job is due. And then I always try to show people just even the top. You can see my hand there, but just so that people can kind of see like, hey, are there any leaks in the ceiling? And I'm not seeing anything over there. But the other thing I try to check out too is I want people to be able to see the windows, and it looks like the windows are older. They could still be functional. What you look for are broken seals in windows just to make sure that they are okay. And you might see some screens that come out. Screens being out isn't a huge deal. What is a huge deal is if you see broken seals, but these do look like they are original windows. And I am going to now continue on here. So obviously you want to see conditions of things of like the kitchen. This is a different flooring, it's a hardwood flooring, but you can see there are some stainless steel appliances, but one thing that I point out to people is like if they can't take really good care of the inside of the house and it's dirty, what's it gonna be like how this house is maintained? And those are some things you definitely have to consider. Like you look at the drawer right here, for instance, right? So it's broken. It's just not very appealing. So you might have to do some things for cabinetry when you're here. But I mean, it has a nice view of the yard. That's always a positive, and we'll go to the backyard here soon. But the other thing I like to check is I just also like to be sure, like I'm gonna go in the bedrooms here quickly. And I want people to be able to see if there's any issues with the windows. So there is a crack right here. So this window might need to be replaced. So again, that's something that you have to keep in mind, is that you might have to replace some of these windows. Again, you can kind of see a hole right here in here. So again, deferred maintenance. Bathroom's a little older. I'm not gonna, go big time into this. You wanna be sure that there's a vent fan in here, and there is, so that's a good thing. And you can see there's some older carpet through here. And I wanna check out this window. So this window has a little bit of fog to it, so I don't know if there's a broken seal. But again, these windows are older, so it's not something that would be unheard of. And then here in this room, this would probably be the primary, but again, you can kind of maybe even see just areas that needs to be touched up. Window treatments usually are included in a home sale unless they otherwise reserve them. Oh, and look at these windows, yeah. I mean, we might be able to see these on the outside, and this is out to the backyard. But guys, yeah, these windows need some love. And that's something that would be pointed out. I'm gonna meet you right now in the downstairs. So in the basement, some things that you have to try to be aware of are, if it's finished, which this is partially finished, there's paneling, I can't see the walls, so can you see water penetration that might have happened at some point? It's kind of tough to see here, but when I'm looking through the basement, you can see that there is ta-da, a sump pump, which that's a good sign. They did say in the disclosures that they had some water in the basement, but then they put a sump pump in and no issue since. Sometimes what you'll see in Michigan too is they'll have, well, like honestly, like water in the basement is something that people are freaked out about in Michigan because you get water in the basement, you have storage, things that get ruined, obviously. But there are some waterproofing systems that you can get. Some of them have some lifetime guarantees, but they're not cheap. So sometimes you can notice if there's just a waterproofing system because you can see like maybe they dug up on the sides. I don't see anything like that. So if you really want to get to the nitty-gritty of what's behind the drywall, then you have to kind of go behind that. But then you can even see here, it's an interesting way of, I don't know if they just didn't want to see any daylight, but you can see there's some books kind of blocking the sunlight down here. But anyway, it's what it is. And then another thing we check out is the electrical panel. So one thing to know, especially in the city of Lansing, you want to be sure that things were done with permits. But this is any area. Because a house that I'm showing you here, it was built in the late 1970s. A lot of homes in this neighborhood were built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, but whether I'm showing you a brand new build or I am showing you a home that's older, these are just things across the board that you need to keep in mind. So I did want to address that. I know I'm showing you a house that might not be huge, might need some updates, but these are all the things I look for in every single house, whether it's built in 2020 or 2020 and beyond, brand new build, or in the 1900s. So you can see here, electrical panel, 100 amp. So it's updated. I mean, this is an updated electrical panel. You don't have a pushmatic where that could be against fire code. I mean, it's fine, but usually in the city of Lansing, they do have a sticker on here that shows that this was permitted. I'm not seeing it. So why is that a major deal? Well, I'll get into that at the end because I'm gonna see if there's any other stickers that are missing, and I'll kind of point that out to you here at the end with you seeing my face this time around. Now let's go over here. Let's look in the mechanical room. So obviously I'm not showing you any of the finishes. I'm not really, you have to know whether you like the layout. That's gonna be completely up to you and something for you to interact with. But here's the first thing, and this is a good sign. And this is approved. You see a sticker here from the plumbing department from the city of Lansing. So this is the water main, and it's PVC. Why is that a big deal? Well, if you have older cast iron, and it goes out to the street, you could get root intrusion. You might need to do a sewer clean out. And so typically I tell all my buyers, even with this one, I would tell them to still do a sewer scope with a main that's here in PVC. Why? Because I don't know what's going out to the street. If they only replaced it here, but then out to the street, they decided to do, keep cast iron. And the reason for that is because you're responsible for whatever leads out to the street, and that can be tens of thousands of dollars for you to have to be able to spend. And so I've helped clients do a sewer scope inspection where they snake through, they see if there's root intrusion, if there's a collapsed line that's there, and it's saved them thousands of dollars. So that's one thing that I definitely tell people when it comes to general inspections. Get a sewer scope. It's a separate inspection, but it is worth it. But this one looks like they updated some of it. You see some of the older copper piping here. Some of it is insulated. You'll see this on the outside here. I don't know if you can see this up here. I'm trying to get my hand out of the way, but this is insulated right there. And that's a good thing when it gets cold because this might not have good heat source down here. You got the water heater. Looks like it's newer. You got the furnace, it looks like it's newer. There is central AC that is here. You can tell that just because of having this line out here. But here's the thing, you guys, I'm not noticing any stickers of a water heater or a furnace being installed. And in the city of Lansing, that's a requirement. So again, I'm gonna get to this when I get out of here, just so that, and when you can see me face to face to kind of explain permits in here. But the furnace was updated 2024, that's a good sign. And there is another bathroom that is here. But also sometimes I had to tell people there's stories involved here. There's a whole bunch of clothes and junk. I'm gonna get out of here. I think I've seen a majority of things. So let's go to the outside and I'll have my final closing thoughts. Okay, so here you have a garage, and a garage is a garage, but this leads to the outside. Some things you want to be sure of is this has a freezer, and this is common for people in Michigan that they have a freezer to store some of their meat, maybe from hunting or just need the extra storage. You want to verify if that freezer is staying or not. And I always try to verify what's staying, what's going. Same thing with this. You got this nice little built-in porch area. Is this staying or is this going? But now we want to get to the backyard and we want to check out some things. We want to check out this, okay, it's a fenced backyard. If you look over here, I'm gonna try to see if I can zoom in for you to be able to see. But do you see right over at the top there, the roof? So for certain loan types, that would be a liability because they might ask for that to be fixed. That can be a concern. So that's something that might have to be addressed when it comes to an offer. Back out there and let's go to the back. So I wanna be sure when I'm looking over here that there are downspout extensions that are here that aren't infiltrating into the basement. And it looks like there are over here. That's a good sign. You wanna look for any missing siding. You wanna look at the back of the roof. And again, like the roof doesn't look brand new. It could maybe have about another 5 to 10 years of life if I were to guess. All the way around the perimeter, you wanna see, hey, are there any foundation issues? Now, right here, this is a concern, the downspout extension. It's missing from there and it's completely collapsed off. Like you can't, you know, so that's something that I would try to give for feedback to them. I'm also trying to see, because the other things you want to verify is you want to verify the central air, because that is something that should be here and you want to see the age of that. Okay, so here is the central air unit. And this one, looks like it's it looks like it's older. So even though the furnace was updated, the AC looks like it might need to be. And so here's the thing, when you wanna see a home in the wintertime, it has to be over 60 degrees for them to inspect it. So you might not even have it inspected by that time. And if that's the case, what I recommend people do is to ask for a home warranty just to make sure that the AC unit is working and you're not having to pay a lot of money out of pocket. So I am about to conclude this showing here. I'm gonna give you some final thoughts. Hey everybody, so just some final thoughts. First of all, the one thing I want to point out is when we first show up to a showing, there are cameras that can be outside of the house. And if I see a camera, if I notice a camera, then I will tell you to be quiet and not say anything. Why is that? Because if you let on that you absolutely love this house, then that seller's gonna know it and they're gonna be like, man, these people really love it. And any negotiating power that I have for you goes away. So those are things that I can point out to you, like, hey, they got the Ring doorbell camera. Some of those things are obvious to see, but those are things I have to tell you. Like even if I'm doing like a virtual showing on my phone, I'm probably gonna have to tell you, hey, I gotta keep it quiet with my thoughts and keep your thoughts quiet just to help you with negotiating power. So that's my first thought. Second thought has to do with the permits, right, in Lansing. So if you have a seller that hasn't done the required permits, then you want them to pay the fees for the permits they should have done. Otherwise, that's going to fall to you and you are going to have to pay those fees to get the things inspected and you're gonna have to be liable for it. So I point out the stickers because I'm like, that's something that I would look into, to be like, hey, are there any permits that are outstanding? Are there things that the seller has not paid for? And again, not every realtor is going to point that out to you. So just wanted you know, to be aware with that. Then if you like really love this house, I would sit down with you, I would talk with you about, hey, what, you know, if you absolutely love this house, here's some things I would recommend that we do that still makes it comfortable for you. And I don't want you to do things that are gonna make you feel uncomfortable. And we talk about all your different options and we put the offer together. So hopefully this was beneficial to you just to be able to see how I do a showing. I know you didn't see me the entire time because I had to kind of show you some things that might not have been so fun, but these things do add up. These are things inspectors will potentially bring up. These are things to keep in mind when you are looking. And again, I showed you a house that was built in the late 1970s. This applies to homes that are older all the way up to newer home builds, okay? I'm gonna be the same way with all of these. So if you are looking to move here in 9 days, 90 days, 9 months from now, you need somebody to be in your corner, your advocate, feel free to reach out to me at any time. All my contact information is in the description below. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you already haven't so you can be notified when new episodes of Lansing Michigan Life go live. Well, everybody, this is fun. I was glad to be able to kind of show you a house of how I do things, and reach out anytime. And until next time, take care. Make it a great day.